Hello there, and a hearty welcome to the National News File for today here on Star Television Network on Channel 21. I am Hassan Koroma. First, the headlines. Ministry of Defense visited the Queen Elizabeth Key facility housing some of the engineering equipment donated by the Chinese government to the Army engineering units of the Arts Lab to carry out a wide variety of civil work programs.
China is a great friend of Sierra Leone, as you've rightly said. 50 years of continuous relationship. We have benefited quite a lot from that.
Domestic tourism is now one of the largest and fastest growing sector that has the potential to stimulate economic growth, according to the General Manager, National Tourist Board, Fatmata Mida Hamid Keru.
The campaign of domestic tourism is for you, and every other Sierra Leonean to be engaged in tourism activity. So by engaging in tourism activity, we have the spillover effect. That is where you find that the spillover effect is the economic benefit. And that's the only way we as a sector will be able to contribute a whole lot to the GDP.
The Sierra Leone ambassador to the United Nations, Colonel retired Alhaji Fonde Toure, has said that the country can appropriately play a pivotal role in global discussions on conflict prevention, peacekeeping operations, crisis management, as well as global peace and security. All these stories plus more lined up for you in this edition of the Star National News. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in details with me, Hassan Koroma. As part of President Julius Maada Bio's fulfillment in building a rather formidable army that will compete with its counterpart in the sub-region, senior management of Minister of Defense, led by Deputy Minister of Defense, accompanied by the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Sully Sese, and the Commander Joint Force, Major General Peter K. Lavahun, has took a conducted tour to the Quarter Key facility, housing some of the engineering equipment donated by the Chinese government to the Army engineering units of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces to carry out a wide variety of civil work programs. Here is the report.
The Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces are the Army Forces of Sierra Leone responsible for the territorial security of Sierra Leone's border and defending the national interests of Sierra Leone within the framework of the 1991 Constitution and international laws. The armed forces were formed after independence in 1961 on the basis of elements of the former British Royal West African Frontier Force, then present in the Sierra Leone Colony and Protectorate. The Sierra Leone Armed Forces is headed by the current Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Sully Sese, who is the most senior military officer in the Sierra Leone Army, seconded by the Commander Joint Force, Major General Peter K. Lavahun, including all one-star generals that form the chain of Army Command, with His Excellency President Dr. Julius Maada Bio as Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. President Ahmed Tijan Kaba announced in January 2002, when the war ended, that the Sierra Leone Army will be unified with a tiny Sierra Leone Air Force and the Sierra Leone Navy, including the infantry, to form a reconstituted force known as the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, headed by the Commander Joint Force, Major General Peter K. Lavahun, with plans already in place for the creation of a tri-service. At the 8th Ministerial Conference of the Forum on China-African Cooperation, FOCAC, President Xi Jinping made important proposals on building a China-African community with a shared future in the new era, and announced a series of major initiatives demonstrating China's sincere willingness to further strengthen solidarity and cooperation with African countries. His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio intimated that China is willing to work with Sierra Leone to implement the initiative of the forum, align the outcomes of the conference with Sierra Leone's demand for development, and further boost cooperation in such fields as COVID-19 response, agriculture, fisheries, education, and infrastructure, and building a cohesive armed forces, as well as helping Sierra Leone fight against the pandemic and recover its economy.
China is a great friend of Sierra Leone, as you've rightly said. 50 years of continuous relationship. We have benefited quite a lot from that. and they will say that in terms of benefit, it is mutual. We have worked together on the multilateral stage on several occasions. We've had so many projects done in Sierra Leone. So it's been a great relationship, 50 years of strong bilateral relationship with the People's Republic of China.
In recognition of a rather comprehensive bilateral relationship with the People's Republic of China and the government of Sierra Leone, a donation by the Chinese government to the country's armed forces include a 3 QY-75KC military cranes, 18 front loaders, 22 Howo trucks, 6 military forklifts, 3 military dozers, and 4 Bobcat machines, 8 military vehicles, and 3 military water bowsers to the engineering units of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. The first time in the history of the Sierra Leone Armed Forces, and under the commandship of Lieutenant General Sule Cisse as Chief of Defense Staff and Major General Peter K. Lavahun as Commander Joint Force, that a huge consignment of military equipment were ever donated to the country's armed forces. It could be recalled that the military engineers are essential in combat support role and for building damaged infrastructure. These, according to the commander of the engineering unit of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, Colonel J.B. Saidu, that the path the military takes are often influenced by what engineers can facilitate, noting that the army engineers were so viable that during the organization of African unity in Sierra Leone, they did a marvelous job constructing the road from Wilberforce Barracks right onto the end of OAU village. Until now, one of the best constructed roads in the country is a Regent Road that has stood the test of time for more than 30 years. There are plans by the senior management of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces to engage the Army Engineering Corps to undertake a non-military construction task that will yield much dividend for a sustainable army. The equipment, when fully commissioned by His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, will see the engineering unit of the RSLAF as one of the outstanding units comparable to the Joint Medical Unit at the 34 Military Hospital in the area of development growth trajectory. Abdul Rahman Kamad reporting.
The General Manager, National Tourist Board, Fatmata Mida Hamid Keu, has said domestic tourism is one of the largest and fastest growing sector that has the potential to stimulate economic growth and have a positive impact if fully utilized. She spoke to Abdul Rahman Kamad in this interview on the importance of domestic tourism.
Well, my name is Fatmata Keu, and I'm the General Manager for the Sierra Leone National Tourist Board.
When we talk of domestic tourism, what really is domestic tourism?
Well, when we talk about domestic tourism, I always say to people, let us understand first and foremost what is the concept of tourism in general. The concept of tourism merely is the movement of people traveling from one place to another. Say, for instance, you travel from Bo to Kenema, that's movement. Or you travel from Freetown to Makani, the movement of people. And when you travel, it can be for numbers of reasons. The UNWTO definition of tourism will tell you that when you move from one place to another, which is not your original residence. Like I reside in Freetown. Freetown is where I reside. If I leave Freetown and go to Maboka, that is not where I reside. I reside in Freetown. It can be for a number of reasons. It could be for conference, for business, visiting family and friends. It could be for leisure, entertainment, religious purpose, educational purposes. It could be for a number of reasons. But largely it's moving from one place to another. As opposed to international travel, international tourists simply mean you leave one country, you come to another. You leave Ghana, you come to Sierra Leone, that is international tourism. But domestic tourism is within your country, within the country, moving from one place, from one region to another, as I said, for a number of reasons.
What are some of the associated benefits with domestic tourism?
Yes, there is always, there is a whole lot. There is a whole lot of benefits. when people move, when you move from one place to another for whatever purpose, the economic benefits. When you go to a place, you have to stay in a hotel or a guest house. You must visit the restaurant. You must go to entertainment facilities, centers. You leave your money there. That's one economic benefit. Even if you are staying with your family, you have to spend money. So that is one. It brings along, comes with economic benefits. What about the social benefits? What about the cultural benefits? These are all some of the benefits. And also one of the greatest benefits, it helps you to know your country. It helps you to understand your country, to know your country better, to know the numerous natural blessing God has endowed with, which is our tourist attraction. When you go to Makeni, you understand, you are privileged to walk around the local people, engage with them, see how they live. You can also visit the entertainment facilities there, like I said. You can also visit the ecotourism facilities, attraction that they have there. When you live here, you go to TY. You are blessed to visit the great TY Island, which is our forest reserve area. There is a wide range of species there. Some endangered species are also found there. We have the pygmy hippo, we have the Diana monkey, we have all different kinds of birds. You know, these are all some of the opportunities that you have when you engage in domestic tourism. Look at the Takugoma Chimp Sanctuary. Have you been there before? So this is a unique place where you go and enjoy nature at its best. You visit the Western Peninsula. That is also another opportunity to see that we are blessed with one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. We talk about the island, Bones Island, our slave fort, which is the Bones Island. You talk about Banana Island. You talk about Bump Island. You know, these are some of the opportunities that you as Sierra Leonean will be exposed to. It will increase your knowledge, understand what you have in your country.
And why this campaign on domestic tourism?
The campaign of domestic tourism is for you, and every other Sierra Leonean to be engaged in tourism activity. So by engaging in tourism activity, we have the spillover effect. That is where you find that the spillover effect is the economic benefits. And that's the only way we as a sector will be able to contribute a whole lot to the GDP. Because when you go to hotels, when you sleep over in hotels, okay, the hotels in turn pay their license, they pay their GST to government, and that in itself will help to promote, and enhance or increase, if I should say, our revenue, our tourism revenue, because there is a spillover. Because when you go there, you have to spend money, okay? And don't forget that, even as little as the market people, as insignificant as you want to see the food sellers or the souvenir sellers, they all benefit from tourism activities. Because when you go to these places, you buy things in the market, you buy things from the souvenir sellers. This is the spillover effect that we are talking about. Tourism is a multiplier sector. And whatever you do, it affects every single person within the value chain. It affects the restaurants people, the art and crafts people, the market sellers, the food sellers, even as you say, the Kukibafa zones. It also has a way of affecting them.
And pretty much the message towards this campaign?
The message towards this campaign is that we call on all Sierra Leoneans for can support we and promote Sierra Leone. We now get a new logo, what we call the freedom, explore freedom. Now in this, Sierra Leone is a unique country. It's a beautiful country. Let we come and enjoy waiting God don't give we. Tourism, not all my business. If we want tourism to thrive, We all need to come on board to ensure that we promote Sierra Leone. And what do I mean by that? All the negative news, all the negative things that we send out on social media, on Facebook, we need to stop doing that. I am not telling anybody to lie, but what I'm saying, your country is your country. You have no other country. If you project a negative news about your country, people will not want to come. People will not be safe, will not feel safe to come to Sierra Leone. So I want to encourage people that other countries then get their own wahala. They get their own problems. They have their problems, but they choose to wash their dirty linens, not in public, but internally. That is my message to Sierra Leoneans.
Thank you so very much, and I wish you well in this campaign.
Thank you.
In case you're just joining us, you're still watching the National News File for today here on Star Television Network. On Channel 21, I am Hassan Koroma. The Sierra Leone Ambassador to the United Nations, Colonel retired Alhaji Fande Touré, at the area formula meeting at the United Nations, shared Sierra Leone's experience in conflict prevention and peacekeeping strategy, with the Security Council noting that Sierra Leone can appropriately play a pivotal role in global discussions on conflict prevention, peacekeeping operations, crisis management, as well as global peace and security. Creating Thomas reports.
With the live experience of regional arrangements in the maintenance of international peace and security, Sierra Leone can appropriately play a pivotal role in global discussions on conflict prevention, peacekeeping operations, crisis management, and in addressing threats to global peace and security. Whilst delivering a statement at the area formula meeting at the United Nations Security Council, convened by the Mission of Ghana on collective security through equitable burden sharing, strengthening regional arrangements for the maintenance of international peace and security, the permanent representative of Sierra Leone to United Nations, His Excellency Ambassador Alhaji Fande Touré, shared Sierra Leone's experience in regional arrangements in conflict prevention and noted that regional arrangements have proven to be effective and timely amid source implications and coordination challenges. Ambassador Touré emphasized the context of the reform of the Security Council and in the co-chair's revised elements paper, adding that Sierra Leone was pleased to note that the progress made with appreciation on the retention of the PICAF under the cluster relationship between the Security Council and the General Assembly. In the convergence section, they expressed view to further strengthen cooperation with regional and sub-regional organizations. In this regard, he further noted that flexibility and agility of regional intergovernmental organizations to act where the UN Security Council cannot immediately act and thus see the need for partnership in a representative approach to maintaining international peace and security. This in turn operationalizes the UN Charter purposes to take effective collective measures for the prevention and removal of threats to peace and suppression of breaches to peace proactively and through peaceful means. This view, he said, underscores the importance of employing regional solutions for regional challenges. Sierra Leone, he said, will accordingly lend support to the agenda on cooperation between the United Nations and regional and sub-regional organizations, particularly in revisiting the proposals for supporting regional arrangements and regional institutions through funding from assessed contributions of the UN and to provide logistical support to address conflict at the regional level. For Star News, Cretin Thomas reporting.
The Milton Maga University has held its Solid Adam public lecture series on the topic Understanding the District Block Representation System and the Proportional Representation at the Great Hall of the Goderich campus in Freetown. Georgia Lotsam was there. He now reports.
The Milton Maga Technical University on Tuesday, 26 July 2022, continued with its Yolade Adams Public Lecture Series on the topic Understanding the District Block Representation System or the Proportional Representation at the Great Hall of the Goderich campus in Freetown. Dr. Julius Spencer, former Minister of Information, poet and playwright, revealed that the PR system means changing from the district block representation winner-take-all system. that the current political system is divisive, that the country is almost in the middle of moving towards ethnicity. Politicians flame the flames of ethnicity, and politics has now become a do or die battle and the surest way to get wealth, while the majority of the people are not served and that the people think they have no stake in governance, lamenting that everything in the country is now politicized.
Those who lose elections, they spend the next 5 years trying to make those who won look bad, trying to make them fail so that they will lose the next elections and they will win. Those who win the elections spend the duration of their term planning how they will win the next elections. That's what they focus on. Most of what they do, even in terms of development activities, are aimed at winning them votes. Therefore, as a people, we are not able to focus on the things that are for the common good, the things that will help all of us. We are divided. Some people want the government to fail, some people want the government to succeed. So we are not all working together. Now everything is politicized nowadays. In fact, you say something critical, they are immediately branded. You are in the opposition. So your views do not count. And therefore, as I said, we can't focus on national development issues. Now it is against this background that I believe the winner-take-all, which is what we are practicing, the winner-take-all system, otherwise called the first-past-the-post system, is not good for us. Now, what is the winner-take-all system? What are the characteristics? Now, the person with the highest number of votes wins. Everybody else loses.
In his presentation, the former chairman of the National Electoral Commission, NEC, Mohamed Umfa Ali Conte, commended the government of President Julius Maada Bio for transforming the institution to a technical university, clarified that he is not a politician, that an electoral system is the arrangement by which votes are cast, that Sierra Leone electoral system stemmed from its colonial past, and also politicians choose the electoral system that works for them, considering social factors like the civil war. He went on to reveal that there are inherent advantages of the PR system. Recall that in 2002, the entire country was one constituency, and that the district block system is very unique to the country, that the number of votes are divided by the number of seats in parliament.
Now, the term electoral system, that's the definition. The term electoral system has been defined as the rules according to which voters express their political preference and according to which it is possible to convert these votes into parliamentary seats. Please note that that's what we call an electoral system. You go and vote. How do we convert your votes into seats? That's what we call proportional representation. How do we convert? How do the Chief Electoral Commissioner and his commission, how do they convert your seats, your votes, into seats in Parliament? That's what we call an electoral system. In short, this is my own definition. An electoral system refers to the electoral arrangement by which elections are conducted in the country and the votes cast are translated into parliamentary seats won by political parties.
The Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the Milton Magai Technical University, Professor Dr. Philip John Kanu, enlightened that the Sholade Adams Public Lecture Series is in honor of the first African principal of the institution, and that it is prudent for the university to discuss critical national issues and profound solutions to be cascaded to the people.
The title will be the best way for people to understand the main aim, understanding the proportional representation of the block, district block system. When it came up a few weeks ago, it became a very sensitive topic within Sierra Leone. And as an academic, as an educational institution, we think it will be very prudent for us to call experts so that they will be able to explain it for people to understand what is the proportional representation, the different types that we have, because in some countries they have it there. But this particular system, it is divided into various types. So we wanted the people to know, because what we know about proportional representation, we just think that the only system that is in the proportional representation is the aspect of the party selecting names for people.
The highlight of the event were the questions and answer sessions and a vote of thanks by a student. For Star TV News in Freetown, George Elliott Sam reporting.
And from that story, this is all we have time for in today's edition of the Star National News here on Star Television Network on Channel 21. I've been on this anchor, Hassan Kouma. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.